Back to session 2, all about meditation. Meditation is a very ancient practice that is now practiced all over the world. Science has actually proven that meditation can lower your blood pressure, reduce anxiety, decrease pain, ease symptoms of depression, improve sleep, and increases our ability to focus. And the reason it increases our ability to focus is because all that meditation is, at its very, very, very essence, is focused concentration. You're focusing on something. It can be your breath. Focusing on your breath is a great one because you've always got your breath with you. So you don't need to hear a clicking, ticking of a clock or the flame of a candle or hear music or a voice guiding you through the meditation. If you're focusing just on your breath, you can do that anywhere, anytime, that in and out. Um, there are a whole variety of types of meditation, and the reason that people get stuck with meditation is because they think, for several reasons, they think it's that the Zen Buddhist monks with their fingers like this, sitting cross-legged, going home, and that's a mantra meditation, and it's only one version, and it's a very, very powerful version, and I love it. I love it dearly, but it's only one version. And the other thing that people do is they think you have to meditate for 10 to 15 minutes twice a day, or 45 minutes, or half an hour, or whatever. And they try to do that the very first time. And what I would say to you is if you think back to maybe the very, very first time that you rode a bicycle, were you able to do it for longer than a couple of minutes? Probably not. The very first time you walked, you probably weren't able to walk for more than a couple of steps. And yet, for some reason, particularly when we're adults, we think we should be able to do these things immediately, do them correctly, and do them for as long as we want to do them. But if you're only learning something, and apart from that, it's called a practice. So it's something you should absolutely be doing every day. But when you're starting out, you should only be doing it for 2 or 3 minutes because your brain is not used to focusing on something or being quiet. Because back to what I said in session 1, all about emotions, we're overstimulated. We're overstimulated with colors, with sound, with the amount of news we're bombarded with, etc., etc., etc. The music, the sports, all those lovely things I talked about last session. So what we're trying to do is, but you can't, it's quieten our mind, but by focusing on something. Because if you say to your mind, right, mind, go quiet, it's going to go, oh, I've got your attention. Let me tell you all these things I'm worried about, thinking about, I think the bathroom needs redecorated. Or do you really like your hair like that anymore? Have we not outgrown that a wee bit? Maybe we're a bit old for that. And what about that dress? Do you really think that dress really suited you? Because it's got your attention. So it'll just go for it. It's not used to. But after a while, when the brain gets to the point where it realizes that actually it's really, really beneficial in helping us to come to that in between bit, that place where we want to be, that resilience zone, it'll get to the stage where it'll go, do you know that thing we started? We did it for 3 or 4 days where we're, 2 or 3 minutes. Could we go and do that again, please? And it becomes a thing that you really, really want to do. But it only becomes a thing that you really, really want to do when you find the right one. And that's the third mistake people make. So the three mistakes are: one, trying to do just the whole and thinking that that's what we do. Two, they try it for too long. And the third one is they don't play with it. And anything you want to do, you've got to play with it till you find what works for you. So I'm going to take you through several types of meditation. And this list is neither exhaustive nor exclusive. So you can go out and you can find other things. And I will put links below to meditations on my YouTube page, but also maybe to others, because there's some that I don't do, so that you can go and help yourself and play around with it till you find the meditation. And what I would say is, particularly if you're doing focused meditation where you're listening to somebody's voice, what I have found over the years is I will start with somebody and I love them dearly and they'll be everything to me for a while and then I kind of grow out of them. And then I find another meditation voice to follow, etc. Or I find another type and it changes over time. The more we do it, the more our practice deepens, we will leave. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to stay with one teacher just because you think you have to. You don't. You move as you develop and evolve and do more of this, you move on to another teacher. So focused meditation is kind of also known as guided meditation is exactly that. We focus on the guide. So there's usually somebody or a noise or staring at a candle flame for whatever length of time. So this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk. I'm going to put on some music. You can listen to the music and I will talk as well. So you're listening to my voice and that's what you're going to concentrate on. But if you were completely on your own, you could focus on your breath and you're guided by the breath. And it might be the case of where can I feel my breath? Do I feel it in my nose? Do I feel it in my throat? Do I feel it in my chest? Do I feel it in my belly? Is it cold at the tip of the nose when you're breathing it in and warm when you're breathing it out? It's those sorts of things. You're not asking yourself those questions. You're just noticing the breath and focusing on the breath. Or you could light a candle and be in total silence and stare at the candle flame until everything around the candle kind of just disappears and it's just you and the candle flame. It's magical. But I'm going to put on the music. And it's entirely up to you. You can sit, you can lie, you can, whatever way works for you, as long as you're comfortable and supported. Your back and your neck are supported until such times as you learn to do this and you learn to support yourself. And we're just going to do 2 minutes. So I invite you to adopt a soft gaze, which is we do that by staring at a point until our eyes go hazy, our sight goes hazy. Or you can close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. And obviously we don't meditate when we're caring for somebody, we're operating heavy machinery, or driving. So we start with our breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth. 3 comfortable deep breaths. And hopefully you noticed your breath going in through your nose, down your throat, into your chest, and maybe into your tummy, and then coming back out. Just notice the surface beneath you, whether you're lying or sitting, where you touch the surface and the surface touches you, or your clothes touch your body. Notice your heart rate. Just by sitting like this and breathing deeply, has your heart rate already started to come down? If you haven't done so already, release your shoulders back and down so they start to relax. Relax your jaw. Relax all the little muscles around your eyes, including the little muscles at the backs of your eyes. Just let them unwind now. And just keep listening to the sound of my voice. As you breathe, listen, focus and relax. Just letting everything from today go. Breathing in that delicious air, fills us full of energy and life. Breathing in and breathing out. And when you're ready, wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, shrug your shoulders, stretch if you need to, open your eyes, and come back into the room. And hopefully, your first thought is, was that it? And yes, that was 2 minutes. It was actually just over 2 minutes. And that's how much you should start with in the beginning if you've never meditated before, because it's about letting your body try something and see how it feels. The second type of meditation we're going to do in this session is a mindfulness meditation. And this time we sit in silence. Now, if you know me at all, if you follow me on Facebook or any of those things, you'll know I'm not very good at silence. And this one is a little bit more, this is about noticing our thoughts. So, our thoughts, our feelings, or our sensations. So, a thought might be, did I put water in the kettle? Or what am I going to have for tea tonight? Or what homeworks have I got to do with whomever? Feelings might be worried, sad, happy, joyful, exhausted. And people would tell me tired isn't a feeling. Trust me. In my world, tired is a feeling. It may not be an emotion in the strictest sense of the word, but for me, and they would say it's a sensation. For me, it's more like a feeling. So whatever you want to call a feeling is entirely up to you. Don't let anybody tell you something that you're feeling isn't a feeling. But it may be a sensation. So I've got a itchy right eye, or a tickle in my throat, or the starting of a cramp in my knee, whatever that might be. Now, what I would say is don't, what we want to do is notice it and not act on it. However, if it's really tickly throat and you need to clear your throat and swallow, go ahead. Don't, this is not meant to be torturous. What it is meant to be is you observing what is going on in your body with a sense of curiosity to notice what is happening. And some of the reasons behind that is a lot of times our body is communicating with us through sensations, through feelings, and through thoughts, and we're not listening. And when we kind of step aside and observe what's going on, observe our thoughts, observe our feelings, and observe those sensations, sometimes we get not sometimes, a lot of times we get a much bigger hint to what is going on with us than we would have done because we're just so busy. We're busy going to work, we're busy going to study, we're busy with family lives, looking after our children or our elders, our caring responsibilities. We're just busy, 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 busy. And we're not listening to that still, quiet voice that's telling us that our sore left elbow is a trapped nerve because we haven't been going to the gym and doing the muscle work that stabilizes everything or whatever. And we need to be, and what it's essentially telling us is we need to be taking better care of ourselves, usually in some way. But it depends what your voice is telling you. So this is a silent one. So we're going to go again. I invite you to sit, lie, whatever way is comfortable for you. Again, it's only 2 minutes, but I still want you to be supported in whatever way that is, your back and your neck supported. Um, until such time, and I keep saying until such times as you practice this. When you practice this often enough and you go to any really serious meditation things, you will see that we actually sit forward we sit, first of all, and we sit forward in our chairs so that the only thing that's supporting us is ourselves, our own spine. But in the beginning, because then you're thinking, my back's sore. How long have I got to sit like this? Or if you're sitting crossed legs, your hips are going, what are you doing? Or your knees or your ankles, whatever part of you. Um, And so in the beginning, whilst we learn how to do meditation, I want you to sit where everything is supported and you're comfortable so that you learn the actual art of meditation before we move into sitting forward in our chairs, supporting ourselves. So, silence. Don't be upset or annoyed with yourself if you have thoughts, if you have feelings, if you have emotions. Congratulate yourself for noticing and just observe them. And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, wriggle your fingers, shrug your shoulders, wriggle your toes, open your eyes and come back into the room. So the next one is also done in silence. And the next one is a spiritual meditation. And it's about seeking a deeper connection with God, the universe, spirit, source, all it is, Buddha, whomever it is. This is no judgment on who you worship or don't. It's just about, and so the deeper connection, if you completely don't believe in any of that stuff, maybe it's just about seeking a deeper connection with yourself. So, again, silence. We're going to do it for 2 minutes. Some people I know, again, because a lot of us struggle with the silence, they pray for the 2 minutes quietly, internally. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But it's about, for me, prayer is more like this: Dear God, let me win the lottery. And meditation is about opening the hands to receive the answer back, which so far has been no. But, hey. So, well, no, I'm won like £2.50 here and there, but you know what I mean. I want the big stuff. So, open your hands and listen. Go for that deeper connection with yourself, with your spirit, the universe, all it is, one, the source, whatever you wish to call your deity. So again, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. When you're ready again, wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, shrug your shoulders, open your eyes, and come back into the room. The next meditation is movement meditation, which is the one people are usually most surprised at. The others, they kind of get, they're very similar to everything they've seen or heard before. But movement meditation is walking in the woods, yoga, qigong, gardening, running. Now, when I say all of this, it depends on the surroundings and the context. If you're running with a whole pile of friends and there's great chat and giggling and laughing and all the rest, the way kind of a marathon is, that's not meditation. If you're meditating, it's about the rhythm of your feet. And sometimes you can have music, but it's the music that's just a pace setter, not a stimulant type music. Um, Yoga, if you're practicing it yourself, if you're in a class where somebody's teaching you and talking to you the whole time, that's not going to be very meditative. But if you can then take those movements home and do them yourself at home, very, very safely, then it becomes meditative. Can become meditative depending on music. If you're putting on um, dancing music to yoga and doing hot dancey type pose, but even dancing, there is some dancing that is meditative, depending on the music and the rhythm and the flow of the dance. One of the best ones that I did after surgery for movement meditation for me was putting noticing which bit of my foot was hitting the floor. I should be like Shirley Ballas and have little shoes to do this, but was it the heel? Was it the instep? Was it the ball or was it the toes of my foot that were hitting the floor? And you just go heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe, forward and then backwards and notice which bit of. And the reason it was really good after surgery was because I couldn't move very much. So I used to do it at the end of the bed, and that was as far as I went, was the width of the bed, which is like 4'6" for a double bed. And I had a wardrobe on one side and the bed on the other, so that if I was going to fall or I felt wobbly, particularly going backwards after surgery, I find very, very difficult. So the wardrobe meant I could hold on to something. I could actually touch the wardrobe to steady myself. I was going to fall, I fell towards the bed. I didn't. I did have to touch the wardrobe a few times, but I found it very, very therapeutic and calming. And because it meant I was actually getting up out of bed, I was moving my body, but I was staying in a lovely meditative state while I did it just by walking 5 foot forward and 5 foot back, but noticing which bit of the foot is hitting the floor. So when I do this in groups, it's surprising how many people cannot work backwards. And if you want your knees to be lovely and strong and you want to ward off falls, etc., as you get older, walking backwards is a skill you should cultivate. So I invite you now to get up and try walking forwards and walking backwards just a little bit. And if you haven't done it a long time, maybe go to a hallway where you have two walls on either side. So that if you're a little bit unsteady, you can put your hands against the wall and just notice which bit of your foot is hitting the floor or touching the floor. Is it the heel of your foot, the instep, the ball, or the toes? And what you should notice is that actually it's the heel and the instep of one foot as it's the ball and the toes of the other. And then it's the ball and the toes of this foot, whilst it's the heel and the instep of this foot and the ball and the toes of that foot. It's very interesting. Our feet move in a fabulous way that we haven't normally noticed before. We just walk about and we don't actually notice how our feet move. For some people, they didn't even realize they knew, but they didn't realize that there was four bits to the foot: the heel, the insteps, the balls, and the toes. I'm just pausing to see if you did. Hopefully you did do it and you enjoyed it. So the next one is a mantra meditation. The term mantra, which comes from the Sanskrit language, means sacred sound. Mantra can also be split into its root Sanskrit words man, which means mind, and tra, which means to deliver or to release. Therefore, mantras can act as a tool to ease the mind and release worrisome thoughts and tensions in specific parts of the body. That's where we get the home from. And although written OM, it can also be written OHM. It is three sounds. So it is the O, it is the H, and it is the M if you're doing it properly. And what that does is vibrates different parts of the head and throat, and even the chest. And Om in Sanskrit is reported to be the first sound of the universe, which is why it's such a powerful one and the one that is taught the most. But there is a whole Sanskrit um, language out there, and if you go to the likes of Deepak Chopra, he will take you through. He used to do a 21-day free meditation. I don't know. This is where I started with meditation. It was his 21-day mantra meditation. And it used to be free on YouTube. And it took you through, and he gave you different meditations every day, mantras every day, and he taught you what they meant and how to use them. And so the whole lesson was maybe 20 minutes. And then and it was 5 or 10 minutes of him talking about the meditation and why it works, and maybe 10 to 15 minutes of the actual meditation, depending on how long he talked. And what he does is he leads it and then he goes silent to let you lead it for yourself, which is fabulous because then he's handing the ownership over to you for you to develop your own practice. Beautiful, beautiful thing to do. If it's still free, if there's stuff online, I would highly recommend signing up for his course just to get through 21 days of mantra meditations and to see how they feel in your body. I'm going to do the Om meditation now over this piece of music. So, again, make yourselves comfortable, relax. This one I would normally do cross-legged seated with whichever mudra you want. So when we do our fingers, it's called mudras, and different fingers mean different things. But again, that's a whole other lesson, and that's not stuff I teach. So again, you start with 3 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we start. Your finger, shrug your toe, shrug your shoulders, open your eyes, come back into the room. And hopefully you noticed in that the 3 different sounds. The O at the start, which is a circular shape of the mouth, which brings it different. That O is very much about the front of the face. The H is then the further back in the mouth and the start of the throat, and then the is down into the chest area. These 3 different sounds vibrate different parts of the body, and we'll do this in EFT tapping. You have aqua pressure points in your face, and when you vibrate different parts of your body, it sends different signals to the organs in your body. So the likes of your kidneys, your adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys, particularly these points here, send a message down your nerves to your kidneys. And that message is we're safe. Because if you're sitting going, oh, you're not being chased by a lion or a tiger or a bear or any other animal. And so you're sitting doing that, and that sends the message out to your body that we are safe. All the other Sanskrit mantras have meanings behind them, and it is a very, I want to say delicious. It's a delicious thing to do. Um, and it's a delicious thing to do just to see if you like it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But it's about trying each of these meditations to see which you like. So we're going to move on to progressive muscle relaxation, and it's clenching and releasing different muscle groups in the body and then tightening the whole body and releasing. So if you can, where you are, this is a lovely one to do in bed, and I will send you a link but again, play around because just because the person I've sent you the link for, I like their voice, you might not like their voice. So play around until you find the voice of the person that you like that does this sort of thing. Um, so we can just do this one where we're sitting. So first of all, you point your toes so that you're getting tension in your feet and in your calves, and then release, and then you pull your toes up, so you're getting tension in your shins and a different kind of tension in your calves and in your feet, and relax. And then you clench your thighs. Now, for some reason, I find it very hard to clench my thighs, and my buttocks seem to go at the same time. I can't really seem to do my thighs without my buttocks. If you can separate, that's great. Just do your thighs on your own, but if you can't, and relax. And then what I can't do because of all the surgeries is you clench your stomach. So you pull your stomach in as hard as you can and then relax. And then you arch your back so that you're tightening all the muscles in your back and then relax. And then you do your shoulders up as high as you can and then relax. And then your arms. Now I tend to do the arms all in one. You can again do your triceps and then your forearms, but I tend to do the whole lot and then relax. And then your scalp. So how I do my scalp is you pretend like your ears, like you're trying to get them round to the back of your head. So you do that, that tightens your whole scalp, and then relax. And then your jaw, and then the rest of your face. So go for the ugliest face you can get. And then relax, all scrunched up and relax. Now, it's difficult to point your toes, flex your toes at the same time. So when we do the whole body, you decide which one felt nicer, whichever maybe pointing give you a better stretch than or better clenching than, but whatever's up to you. And so now you do the whole body. So what? And relax. Now, what you should feel is that then every muscle kind of just goes, oh, man. And it's probably because you've been walking around with your shoulders up a wee bit and you haven't noticed until you've really put them up and then they've really relaxed down properly. And you kind of just go a bit watery, a bit like jelly, very soft jelly. Um, and why this one is so super for sleep. So this would be the one if you really if you have issues with getting to sleep, or even in the middle of the night, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you have issues getting back to sleep, this is a beautiful one to do to relax everything and allow you to get back to sleep. So we're just going to move on now from meditation to mindfulness and grounding, and then that'll be us finished. So mindfulness is being aware and being fully present in the moment. So when I said at the beginning, you can't do this when you're doing heavy lifting or carrying responsibilities or driving a car, you can absolutely do mindfulness in any of those situations, which is why mindfulness is so useful because it allows us to do it at any point in time. For me, if I was doing mindfulness right now, I put my hands on the desk and I feel the desk beneath me. I notice my back in the chair, my seat on the seat, and my feet on the floor. And that's grounding as well. But in mindfulness, it's really about noticing the sensation. So if you were in a car, it's noticing, I don't know about your steering wheel, but mine has like 3 different textures. Noticing those textures and noticing the texture of the wheel compared to the indicator. noticing how my feet feel on the pedals. Can I feel my socks? How do my clothes? Are my clothes touching my body? And when was the last time I noticed my clothes touching my body anywhere? You probably feel your skirt or trousers touching the tops of your thighs. If you're wearing trousers, you probably feel it a little bit more around your knees. Can you feel your blouse or your shirt touching your shoulders? And what about your shoes? Are your shoes lovely and comfy on your feet? Now, this is a lovely one. Um, I find when I was working under immense stress and pressure that I'd kind of done to myself, um, I used to go to the bathroom. And in the bathroom, on my way to the bathroom, I would touch the wallpaper. And when I got to the bathroom, then I would put my hand on the mirror, on a hand on the tap, because they were both cold, but they were different types of cold. And the tap was shaped, whereas I could put my hand flat on the mirror. And then I would change and I would put this hand on the countertop and I would put this hand in the sink because again, the sink was shaped and the countertop was flat and they were cold, but they were different sensations of cold. Now, if there was anybody about and I didn't want them to see me, if there was somebody else in the bathroom, I'd have done it in the cubicle, but I'd have put my hand on the wall and on the top of the cistern because again, different types of cold. So I was just bringing my awareness back to my body so that I wasn't worried about whatever meeting I was supposed to be in or whatever we were talking about. Could be finances because I'm not great at maths and that would have sent me to a place. And I'd go, excuse me, I'm going to the bathroom. And I'd have put my hand on the wall and the hand on the cistern. And then even sometimes the tissue paper because the tissue paper's like completely different sensation from the wall or the cistern. And that brought me back into my body and allowed me to regain control of what was going on. So that's mindfulness. Mindfulness is being around, is being completely present in the moment, maybe listening to the sounds in the room. We'll do this in another session called redirect, where you're listening to the sounds in the room, the smells, the tastes, the touch, just to bring you right back to yourself right now so that you're not out there thinking about whatever's going on. And we start to bring ourselves into that lovely resilience zone where everything happens within that zone. And grounding is very much, there are two, very much like mindfulness, where we're sitting in the chair and we're noticing. So we would like it, if you can, to sit right back in your chair. So you have your back against the back of the chair, the seat in the seat, and your feet on the floor. If you can do both. Now, sometimes I myself, I'm a little short person. I can't put my feet on the floor. My feet are on a footstool, but whatever works for you. And if you can't put your feet on the footstool and back, do whichever feels more comfortable. If sitting right back and swinging your legs makes you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, then sit forward and put your feet on the floor. It's entirely up to you. And just notice how your back feels against the back of the chair and how your seat feels in the seat and how your feet feel on the floor and how your hands feel either in your lap or on a table in front of you or on the arms of your chair. And then ask yourself, how do those sensations make you feel right now? And I hope, and in most of my classes, this is what happens. You feel safe, secure, and supported. But the grounding, the other type of grounding is putting our feet, bare feet, in grass, soil, or sand. Equally, we can put our whole body in water or just our feet in water, whatever works for you. And this works because everything is made of energy and everything vibrates. And the earth vibrates at 7.83 hertz, which is the Schumann resonance. And so when we put our feet in the grass, the sand, the soil, or in water, or even put our hands on something that has roots like a tree, if you can put your two hands on the bark of a tree, you don't have to be a tree hugger. I hug the trees, but you just can put your hands on the bark because they are fully rooted in the earth. Your whole system calms down because your system, whereas we would talk about co-regulation. So if your child or pet is upset and you stay calm, it will follow suit with you and it will start to calm down. And that happens with everybody, not just pets and children. It happens with everybody. With adults, with their own minds, it can be a little bit more difficult, but with children, particularly with senior citizens that are really quite elderly, pets, they will follow our lead and co-regulate with us really quite quickly. Other adults take a little bit longer. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're co-regulating with the earth. Lots of studies have shown that grounding increases healing abilities in much the same way as meditation does. Decreases in fatigue, lowers pain levels, improves mood. You sleep better, reduces blood pressure. What's not to love? So, like I said at the start, we recommend you start with 2 minutes twice a day just to get used to it. And I would play around with these. So I would maybe do, like, if you can find Deepak Chopra's and do that for 21 days to see how you like mantra meditation and then movement meditation. And you might already find, you might have done this session and gone, I already meditated, I just didn't know it. And therefore you might practice that a little bit more often. But I would play around with those and I would maybe do it each one, unless you know, like me, I'm not good at silence. So unless you know, like I really don't like that one, play with each of them for about a week until you find the one that resonates with you, that you like the most, that is going to allow you, because there's no point in forcing yourself to do something you're really uncomfortable with. Whilst that can be good in some circumstances to help build our resilience, you're most likely for something like this, you're going to give up and not meditate at all. And that's not what we want. We want you to try. It's not what I want for you. I want you to find a meditation that works for you. And the reason that I want you to do it is that resilience zone that can be narrow, the meditation. The more you can meditate, the more you do it, the deeper that resilience zone will be, so that you will be less bumped up out of it or bumped down out of it. Wishing you good emotional health until we meet next time. Thank you very much.